Far away in the middle of a dry, rocky valley lived an old tortoise. The valley was a harsh place. The sun burned down all day, and little grew on the cracked earth. There was no river nearby, only a few thorny bushes and dry weeds scattered across the land. The tortoise had once been strong, active, but over the years his shell had grown heavy and his legs weak. He moved slowly, painfully, dragged himself across the stones. Food was scarce, water was almost impossible to find. Every night, as he lay in his shell, trembling with exhaustion, a single question echoed in his mind: why I was born, if only to suffer like this? He envied the birds that flew above, the lizards that darted quickly to catch insects, even the snakes that seemed to survive with ease. His own life felt like punishment. One evening, when the sun was dipping low and painting the sky in shades of red and gold, the tortoise noticed a lone traveler walking around the mountains. It was a hermit, a wandering sage with long hair, simple clothes, and a staff in his hand. His face looked tired from the journey, but his eyes carried calmness like still water. Summoning courage, the tortoise lifted his hat and called out, "Oh, traveler, where are you going?" The hermit stopped, surprised to hear a voice in this barren valley. When he saw the tortoise, he walked over slowly. "I am going to meet my teacher, who lives in a cave beyond those mountains," the hermit said. "He is a man of wisdom, and I go to learn from him." The tortoise's eyes filled with tears. "Then please ask him something for me," he begged. "Tell him there is a tortoise here who has known nothing but suffering. Ask him, when will my misery end? When will fate show me mercy?" The hermit looked at the tortoise with compassion and replied, "I will ask. When I return, I'll bring you answer." The tortoise lowered his head, whispering, "I will wait for you." The hermit journeyed for many days, crossing rocks and cliffs until he reached the cave of his master. Inside, the old sage sat in silence, his eyes closed in meditation. Bowing deeply, the hermit shared what he had seen. "Master," he said, "on my way, I met a tortoise in great misery. He asked me to find out when his suffering will end. Can you please tell me his fate?" The sage slowly opened his eyes. His gaze was deep, as if seeing beyond time. After a long silence, he answered, 10 more years of hardship are written for him." The hermit's heart grew heavy. 10 years, master? He is already too weak. If I tell him this truth, his spirit will break completely. The sage placed a gentle hand on his dismal shoulder. "Yes, such is his fate, but remember, fate is not unchangeable. Tell him this: if in every situation, whether hungry, thirsty, weak, or lonely, he gives thanks to the Creator with sincerity, his destiny will begin to change. Gratitude is the seed that can grow a new life." The hermit bowed, understanding the depth of the lesson, and began the journey back to the valley. Days later, the tortoise was still waiting under a dry bush when he saw the hermit returning. Hope flickered in his tired eyes. "Oh, hermit," he cried weakly, "what did your master say about me? When will my pain end?" The hermit hesitated, then spoke carefully. "My master said that 10 more years of hardship are written in your fate." The tortoise gasped. His shell seemed heavier than ever. 10 years? I can barely live through 10 more days like this. Why must I suffer so long? The hermit knelt beside him and added quickly, "Do not lose hope, my friend. My master also gave you a key. He said, whatever happens, whether you are hungry, thirsty, or exhausted, you must sincerely thank the Creator. Say it with your heart. Thank you for everything. This one habit can transform your destiny." The tortoise blinked, confused. "Thank him? For hunger? For thirst? For weakness?" The hermit nodded. "Yes, gratitude is only blessing. Gratitude has the power to turn pain into strength and shorten what is written. Try it. The tortoise sighed deeply. I do not understand, but I will try. From that day on, the tortoise began to practice gratitude. When the ground burned his feet, he whispered, "Thank you, Creator, even for this burning earth." When his stomach ached with hunger, he said, "Thank you, even for this hunger." When his throat was dry and no water could be found, he whispered, "Thank you, even for this thirst." At first, it felt foolish. His body was still weak, his days still hard, but something strange began to happen inside him. His heart grew lighter, his bitterness melted. Though his body was frail, he felt quite strength rising within. Days turned into weeks. Then, one morning, dark clouds gathered over the valley. Soon, heavy rain poured down, soaking the cracked earth. Little green shoots pushed through the soil. Wildflowers bloomed. A stream formed between the rocks, carrying fresh water through the valley. The tortoise drank deeply. He ate the fresh plants that grew. Slowly, his strength returned. His shell felt lighter, his legs steadier. Life returned to him. He no longer cursed his fate. Instead, every day he whispered, "Thank you for everything." A few weeks later, the hermit crossed the valley again. To his surprise, he found the tortoise not lying weakly under a bush, but walking steadily, munching happily on fresh plants, his eyes bright with life. Amazed, the hermit hurried back to his master and said, "Master, you told me the tortoise had 10 more years of suffering, yet in just few weeks his life has completely changed. How can this be?" The old sage smiled knowingly. Yes, 10 years of hardship were written in his destiny, but when he began to thank the Creator with sincerity, his gratitude burned away the weight of his past karma. Gratitude is the fire that can rewrite what is written. What was meant to last 10 years dissolved in just a few days. Dear friends, the tortoise story is a reflection of our own lives. There are the times when we feel trapped in hardship. We feel like life is unfair. The fate has cursed us. We ask, "Why me? When will this suffering end?" But remember, life does not change when the world suddenly becomes easier. Life changes when our attitude becomes stronger. Complaints only multiply pain. Gratitude multiplies strength. When we thank life, even in our struggles, we discover hidden blessings. Our hearts become lighter. Our eyes open to opportunities. Our deserts begin to bloom. So, when you are tested by hardship, remember the tortoise whispered softly, "Thank you for this challenge. It will make me stronger. Thank you for this silence. It is teaching me patience. Thank you for this pain. It is shaping my spirit." Gratitude is not denial of suffering. Gratitude is the transformation of suffering. It is the one habit that can change your fate, your luck, your destiny. Friends, life does not change when problems vanish. Life changes when gratitude appears. If this story touched your heart, share it with others so they too may learn the secret of gratitude. And if you wish to hear more inspiring stories, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Press the bell icon so you never miss the next one. Until next time, stay grateful, stay strong, and stay blessed.